Someone asked Reddit, what are some creepy facts about the ocean? Here's one answer. Many of us have heard about rogue waves, but apparently there exists the complete opposite of that. A rogue hole, which is when one is suddenly met with a gap between the ocean waves that yawns open and can dip down to possibly 100 feet. I don't know why. But something tells me that if such a thing exists, it would be far more destructive and fatal compared to a rogue wave, as it would seem impossible trying to maneuver out of literally being swallowed up by the ocean.
When I moved into my new apartment, the building owner came to talk to me about its rules. The conversation seemed normal at first, until she brought up the bathroom rules. She handed me a sheet of paper with a list of all the bathroom rules. I noticed that as she gave it to me, she looked at me with a mix of fear and firmness. Here's the list she gave me. Bathroom rules: do not leave the tap running for more than 2 minutes between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. Do not flush the toilet between 10 p.m. and 2:30 a.m. Do not take a shower between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. If any of the previous rules are broken, perform the entire process with your eyes closed. Resist the urge to open them. All of these rules must be followed exactly. No exceptions.
TIFU by building an app to track how many times my coworker says, circling back, in meetings. Now whole office uses it. So there is a guy at work. Let's call him KK, says circling back, constantly in every meeting. Sometimes twice in the same sentence. So just circling back on that before we circle back to the main point. I started noticing it maybe 4 months ago and now I cannot unhear it. It has ruined meetings for me entirely, so as a joke, purely for my own amusement, I vibe coded a mini Wabi app in 10 minutes. Every time K says circling back, I tap the screen. It tracks daily counts, shows me a weekly graph, gives me a personal best notification. I showed 2 colleagues mistake, they immediately wanted to use it too. I shared the link. Not a big deal, right? Within 2 days, there were 9 of us silently tapping our phones every time K spoke. We have a group chat now. Someone asked Reddit, what are some creepy facts about the ocean? Here's one answer. Many of us have heard about rogue waves, but apparently there exists the complete opposite of that. A rogue hole, which is when one is suddenly met with a gap between the ocean waves that yawns open and can dip down to possibly 100 feet. I don't know why. But something tells me that if such a thing exists, it would be far more destructive and fatal compared to a rogue wave, as it would seem impossible trying to maneuver out of literally being swallowed up by the ocean. TIFU by telling my sister the wrong gift idea for our nephew. I texted my SIL asking for birthday gift ideas for my 7-year-old nephew. She texted back, skeletons, Minecraft, capybaras. Simple enough. Capybaras being fluffy giant adorable rodents. Later than week, I was out with my sister, and she asked me what I had heard, and apparently I verbally said, skeletons, Minecraft, chupacabra. Chupacabra being a cryptid reptile/alien/dog creature. Didn't notice my mistake. This past weekend was the birthday party, and my nephew opens up a plushy chupacabra and starts giggling wildly and goes, what is this? After some quick conversation with SIL, my brother and my sister, I realized what I did. They both start with C and my brain filled in the rest on the way to my mouth. I was mortified. Continuing where we left off, I called my nephew in and explained that we had a whisper down the lane issue, and that his mom said capybara, but I accidentally said chupacabra. Nephew goes, I don't care. This thing is sick, he loves it. My family had a good laugh over it and crisis averted, but man, I'm not gonna live this down. It's probably worth noting that his obsession in past years has been Godzilla and Minecraft creepers, so no one thought to question him wanting cryptid toys. TLDR SIL said to get capybara merch for nephew's birthday, and I accidentally told people to get chupacabra merch and hashtag 32. Submitted by and hashtag 32. /u/suitable_cataclysm. Link, and hashtag 32. Comments. Someone asked Reddit, what are some creepy facts about the ocean? Here's one answer. Many of us have heard about rogue waves, but apparently there exists the complete opposite of that. A rogue hole, which is when one is suddenly met with a gap between the ocean waves that yawns open and can dip down to possibly 100 feet. I don't know why. But something tells me that if such a thing exists, it would be far more destructive and fatal compared to a rogue wave, as it would seem impossible trying to maneuver out of literally being swallowed up by the ocean. Someone asked Reddit, couples who have been together 10 plus years and are actually still happy, what's the unromantic secret to your success? Here's one answer. 45 plus years here. 2 things. Realize that feelings come and go, but true love is better spelled commitment. Days when you wake up and think, why them? Are also going to be the days the grass looks greener. Stay put. Don't stray. The days of oh yeah, will return. Takes work. Good saying I heard. Good marriages take work. Bad marriages take more work. It would be easy today for me not to have gotten flowers while I was out away from my wife, but I choose to pick up some. It would have been easy not to make a note about a festival that she wanted a few months back. Instead I took the work and not only bookmarked it, remembered it, but today why I was out without her. I booked the hotel and got tickets. She won't know until the morning we leave. TIFU by ruining a coworker's relationship. Obligatory, this didn't happen today, so I'm an amusement park kind of guy, but most of my friends either actively dislike them or don't like them enough to pay to go and like sit in traffic. I had this coworker 30SF. At the time I was 35M, who I wasn't like friends with, but definitely pre-friends, and one day we're talking and she mentioned she also likes amusement parks. So I say we should go sometime, to which she says, great. Can I bring my boyfriend? In retrospect, I think she didn't realize I wasn't asking her on a date. Parks are just less boring when you're with a friend. So I say, sure, sounds great, and we make plans to meet at the park. Here's where the foo happens. She's cool and all, but her boyfriend? That dude was awesome. Continuing where we left off. She thinks that the flowers were the treat. She works on it too, by the way. My dream car? I came home one day from work. The garage was locked. I couldn't park in there. When I went into the kitchen, there was a set of keys. Locked safely away in the garage was not only the make/model, but correct year, color, transmission, even the proper rims. With her sitting in the passenger seat waiting for me, I cried to her it was just a car. But for over a decade, she listened and saved. When she had the money, she looked. She found it, only had to get the custom rims I loved. A woman like that, you work to get, you work to have, you work to keep. Would like OT point out, it really takes both doing that at the same time. Continuing where we left off. 5 minutes and him and I are getting along like a house on fire. Turns out we have a lot of similar interests and we're just having a great time the way two dudes can immediately. So we're hanging out at the wave pool and we're trying to include her, but honestly the two of us had more in common than either one of us did with her, and she's giving the terse it's fine. And so eventually he's like, look, you're upset, and if I want to fix it, so can you tell me what's wrong? And she screams, I've just spent the past 5 hours with my boyfriend and apparently his fucking soulmate, and here's where I really double down on the foo. She said that and I laughed, which made Steve laugh, which made her and him leave. Here's what happened next. Cannot be one-sided, each has to do their part for it to work right. Here's what happened next. Yeah, work was a tad awkward with her until I got transferred 3 months later. Very normal in my job. She and Steve broke up about a month after my transfer, which I know because I'm still in touch with him and he actually couch crashed with us, my now wife and I. For a few weeks last year when he was waiting on his app to be ready TLDR, coworker thought I was asking her on a date so brought her BF on a hangout. Her BF and I ended up getting along better than they did, which led in part to them breaking up and hashtag 32. Submitted by and hashtag 32. /u/share 736. Link and hashtag 32. Comments. My Lyft driver remembered me and waited outside my doctor's office. I've had the same Lyft driver pick me up 3 times over the past 2 years. The second time he already remembered me, which I thought was a little unusual but didn't think too much of it. This time, he immediately recognized me again and started asking a lot of personal questions. Where I was going, why I walked to Starbucks, how long it takes, etc. I kept things polite but vague because I don't like sharing personal details with drivers. I told him I was going to a doctor's appointment and he asked if I was sick. I said no, just blood work. Then he questioned me about having coffee, which felt oddly intrusive. At one point he said, maybe I'll be your driver again, I'll be in the area. Someone asked Reddit, what is your worst experience on an airplane? Here's one answer. This only kind of fits the thread because I thought it was going to be the worst flight ever but didn't turn out that way. I was on a connecting flight after a 10-hour international flight and exhausted. I get to my seat, and of course it's the middle seat and the guy in the aisle is not only already seated but pretty obviously already plastered. But the window seat is open so I cross my fingers that I'll get lucky and the seat will be empty I can slide over and get some sleep. But nope. Just before takeoff, a large woman comes down the aisle with 2 large bags. She puts one bag in the overhead and I get up and let her squeeze in. TIFU by telling my sister the wrong gift idea for our nephew. I texted my SIL asking for birthday gift ideas for my 7-year-old nephew. She texted back, skeletons, Minecraft, capybaras. Simple enough. Capybaras being fluffy giant adorable rodents. Later than week, I was out with my sister, and she asked me what I had heard and apparently I verbally said, skeletons, Minecraft, chupacabra. Chupacabra being a cryptid reptile/alien/dog creature. Didn't notice my mistake. This past weekend was the birthday party, and my nephew opens up a plushy chupacabra and starts giggling wildly and goes, what is this? After some quick conversation with SIL, my brother and my sister, I realized what I did. They both start with C and my brain filled in the rest on the way to my mouth. I was mortified, continuing where we left off. That already made me a bit uncomfortable. But what really stood out was after he dropped me off. I looked out the window from inside and saw him still sitting in the parking lot. That didn't feel normal to me. Instead of calling another Lyft right away, I walked about a mile away and then ordered a different ride home. Later that day, I blocked him in the app. He never said anything explicitly inappropriate, but the level of personal questioning, remembering me, and waiting outside made me uncomfortable enough to trust my instincts. He also complimented my appearance and said I did something different, while looking back at me. Just wanted to share in case anyone else has experienced something similar. And hashtag 32. Submitted by and hashtag 32. /u/waterfalls 55. Link. And hashtag 32. Comments. Continuing where we left off. She's got another sizable bag and she's trying desperately to get it in between her seat and the one in front of her, and finally does, but it's so big her leg is 90% in my leg area. I ask her if she wants to put that in the overhead bin, and she says, I can't, it's my dog. I'm a dog lover, so that actually totally changed my mood from, oh fuck just kill me now, to awesome. She told me the airline allows pets in the cabin but they can't be removed from their cages and made her sign an agreement that she wouldn't let the dog out. But shortly before takeoff it was obviously nervous and she opened up the top of the cage to give it some reassuring pets. It hopped out and promptly lied down right on my lap. Continuing where we left off. I called my nephew in and explained that we had a whisper down the lane issue, and that his mom said capybara, but I accidentally said chupacabra. Nephew goes, I don't care, this thing is sick, he loves it. My family had a good laugh over it and crisis averted, but man, I'm not gonna live this down. It's probably worth noting that his obsession in past years has been Godzilla and Minecraft creepers, so no one thought to question him wanting cryptid toys. TLDR SIL said to get capybara merch for nephew's birthday and I accidentally told people to get chupacabra merch and hashtag 32. Submitted by and hashtag 32. /u/suitable_cataclysm. Link. And hashtag 32. Comments. TIFU by spending 8 years treating chronic headaches when the whole problem was that I thought diet soda counted as water. Not today, been an ongoing fuck up since I was 18. I'm 26. Since about 18 I've had daily headaches. Not migraines, just constant low-level pressure behind the eyes, brain fog, tired all the time. Saw 2 different doctors. Had an MRI at 21. Tried prescription meds. Got chronic headaches, officially added to my medical records. Just accepted I was a headache person. Spent probably $600 to $700 over the years on copays, prescriptions, stuff that barely helped. 3 weeks ago I moved cities and had a new GP for the first time in years. Routine physical. She goes through my history, sees the chronic headaches, asks about my water intake. I told her I drink like 4 or 5 drinks a day. She asked if those were water. I said mostly Diet Coke, but like, it's basically water, right? Water is literally the first ingredient. Here's what happened next. The flight attendants were doing pre-flight checks and walking up and down the aisles, so we covered the dog with a blanket so they wouldn't see. It stayed on my lap and slept for the entire flight. We snuck it back in the cage just before landing. I had zero space and was tired as all hell, but my own personal comfort dog for the flight made it pretty okay. Continuing where we left off. She just looked at me for a second. Caffeine is a diuretic. Not only was I not hydrating myself, I was actively working against it every single day while genuinely believing I was fine because I was drinking a lot of liquid. The idea that liquid doesn't automatically equal hydration had simply never occurred to me in 8 years. She told me to drink 8 glasses of actual water a day and come back in a month. Headaches are basically gone. 3 weeks, maybe 2 mild ones total. 8 years, 2 doctors, an MRI, hundreds of dollars. The answer was water. I am so normally and reasonably furious at myself. TIFU cussing out a stranger. M30s. This actually happened today. I recently moved to a new city and went to the public library to do some work. Had a productive morning and wanted to head home before the rush hour traffic. Wife was using our car, so I borrowed my dad's truck for today, and it's a big thing that's not as easily maneuverable to drive as I'm used to, especially on the narrow roads around my neighborhood. It was a really hot day today too, and while the library is only 10 minutes away from my place, turns out the city chose today to repave a lot of the roads in the area. So a 10-minute drive somehow turned into an hour just sitting in bumper-to-bumper traffic with detours, and it's hot and the sun is bright, and even though the AC is blowing I am sweaty and now grumpy. TIFU by turning my voicemail into a fax machine honeypot. Continuing where we left off. I finally get to my street only to find that they have blocked it off to pave it. Us residents were given no notice, WTF, but fine. I can drive a couple blocks down and take another road onto my street. I take another 10 minutes to turn down a side road, down a couple blocks, and turn into the other end of my street home free. Except not home free because the road literally right outside my garage is now newly paved and blocked off with barricades and signs saying fresh pavement, the road is closed. I look around and notice there are random pockets of paved road everywhere along my street and the intersecting streets. No notice from the city at all. What gives? Now I'm pissed and sweaty. TIFU by accidentally revealing my sister's baby's gender before her gender reveal. This didn't happen today but about 6 years ago and I still feel bad about it. My sister asked me to help with her gender reveal. She and her husband went to an appointment, had the nurse write the baby's gender on a piece of paper, sealed it and gave it to me. My job was to keep it secret and later use it for the reveal. She texted me, "There's an envelope at your place. Don't tell anyone what's inside. Not even us." Here's where I messed up. For some reason I thought she was joking. Like, don't even tell us, as in be extra careful. So I assumed she already knew the gender. I got home, opened the paper, and it said girl, smiley face. The smiley face made me even more convinced she had written it herself. Here's what happened next. I can't even park my car in my garage and there's no street parking allowed either because of the road work being done. This means I have to park somewhere 10 minutes away and walk to my place. I figure I might as well head back to the library, I guess. But because of the paving signs and the size of this truck I have to do like a 15-point turn just to get it around and go down another side street and back onto the main road. Just as I think I am about to get out of the neighborhood, some random guy in a junky sedan parks in the middle of the road and gets out and starts peeking into the windows of a nearby apartment building. Continuing where we left off. So, being an absolute idiot, I texted her OMG, and then sent a baby girl emoji. She immediately replied, "No, do not tell US." That's when it hit me. She actually didn't know. I panicked, deleted the emoji and tried to play it off, but the damage was already done. I had just ruined the surprise. A couple weeks later, we still did the gender reveal party. I made the cake with pink/red candy inside, and everything went great. She was happy, cried, hugged everyone, and somehow acted like nothing was wrong. To this day, I don't even know if she fully saw or processed what I sent. Part of me hopes she didn't. She now has 2 daughters and everything turned out fine, but I still feel like an idiot every time I think about it.